Ooh, are we live? I think we're live.
We are live.
Ooh, that
What
sounds good.
what is going on, everybody? My name is Shot Props, aka Jordan. Joining me, Drew, aka Drew Jitsu. Thank you
What's
for
up,
joining
brother?
me, Drew. Glad to have you here to break down what looks like a great UFC 285. You can find Drew's work in the BettorWays Discord. Link is in the bio on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, just know that we cannot see your comments live. So if you do have any questions for us, make sure to join us on YouTube. I've tweeted the link out several times, so it should be easy to find. Drew, how you doing tonight?
What's up, brother, man? Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. I'm excited. We're one night away. Um, John Jones is back, man. I mean, what more can you say?
That's the big news. That's the big news. So we will get to John Jones in due time, but we've got a lot of great fights leading up to that one. Are you good if we just dive right in?
Yeah, let's dive right in. So we'll just break down these prelims briefly, and then we'll get into the main card.
We're going to go through the prelims. And to anybody listening, I monitor UFC, but I am not fully plugged in. So if I mess up any names, Drew's going to correct me. Don't worry. He knows what he's talking about. Don't worry if I mess it up, but I did do my research. So hopefully it's not too bad. Our first prelim that we have Esteban Ribovic versus Loic Rajabov. Rajabov? Is that how I say that? Uh, Ribovic is a plus 205 money line underdog, and Rajabov minus 250 money line favorite in the welterweight division. Drew, who's your quick pick for this one?
My quick pick for this one would be Loic.
All right.
Radzhabov, but I would be cautious only because Esteban bangs and he is undefeated, which comes in with a little bit of confidence. So better beware.
All right. Moving on to our next one. Go nice and quick
Uh,
on the prelims
so we
here.
have Damon Blackshear versus Fareed Basharat. If you know anything about the Basharat brothers, then you know they're the real deal. You know they're serious and they don't play. So I'm backing Basharat here.
Beautiful. Okay. Our next one we have
Ooh.
Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ricci. Ricci,
I'm
a huge money line favorite at minus 310.
I'm probably gonna go with Baby Shark. Jessica Penny's good for a sub live maybe, but I think Baby Shark eats her up.
There we go. Our next one Mana Martinez and Cameron Simon.
So this one, I'm not really sure why a lot of people like Mana here. I can tell. I know he's durable, and I know he's shown toughness in the past, and the type of fighter who can come back in fights. But I'm backing Cameron all the way. Simon's
All
a
right.
beast. Yeah.
Keeping it simple. We're going Cameron. Perfect. Our
Hmm.
next prelim fight Ian Gary versus Song Kanan. I think I got that
All
right.
all right. So I know we said we're gonna go pretty fast on the prelims, but only because I kind of broke this fight down on my write up, which you can also get at ftnbets.com. You can use FTN MMA to sign up today, get a discount on your membership. But as I said, because I broke this fight down, I'm going to get into a little bit of detail with this one. So my pick for this fight, which I think it's one of the picks there on my card, which you can find on Twitter right now. That's my Twitter account and my which you can see there. But Ian Gary in this fight, I think, is going to put Song Kanong to sleep. And one of the bets that I have for this one is the over 1.5. In this one, it's at a minus 125, I believe. Reason I like it going that is because Gary and Song are both hard hitters, but Gary's damage is more over time. So he picks and prongs, and by the second or third round or late second round, you're probably not wanting to be in there, and then that's when he finishes you off going into the third or early in the third round. So for that reason, I'm gonna go with this bet here as the best bet for that fight. Obviously, you can put Gary in a parlay, and that's probably a really good leg. But just remember, Song Kanon smacks, and Ian Gary is very hittable. But the thing that he has going for him is that he has a steel chin. So Gary and Song over 1.5, book it.
Beautiful. All right. Our next one We're on to the regular prelims. Two types of prelims.
Mm-hmm.
We have Julian Marquez and Marc-Andre Barreau. Who do you have in this one, Drew?
So Julian Marquez and Marc-Andre Barrio. My heart want to says Julian Marquez, but my money's probably would be with Marc-Andre Barrio if I was to bet. I have no bet here officially, just because I don't trust either of these guys. But if I had to bet, I'd probably go with Marc-Andre Barrio.
There you go. Quick lean from Drew on that one. Next. I'm going to let you say these names because even with my research, I don't want to try it.
So Viviane Araujo and Amanda Ribas. This one I like Viviane Araujo, even though Amanda Ribas is dangerous. But I believe her frame compared to Viviane's is going to be the issue. Viviane, I think, is a little bit more aggressive, and it's just better in this match. So Viviane Araujo plus 100, book it. If you're betting, I'm not betting this fight.
Perfect. Now this one, we clicked the wrong button. But speaking of betting, Drew does have some looks for this one, if I can get to it.
So for this one, it's Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. He'll correct you if you don't say it that way. So Dricus is everybody's favorite this week. I can understand why. He's aggressive. Derek Brunson has shown a weak chin in the past, but that was only in one fight before, and he was on a winning streak prior to that. And if you haven't noticed, he's blonde for this fight. So blonde Brunson is back, and blonde Brunson doesn't get knocked out. Well, he did, but whatever. Anyway, we digress. The point is, he's my favorite dog this week because I believe Dricus du Plessis is the messiest fighter to be in the UFC. The only thing he's got going for him is his durability. He's very, very tough. He's beyond tough. And he does have some striking. He does throw kicks. He has a variety of strikes. Let's put it that way. But does he put them well together? I don't think so. He lunges. He overreaches. On most of his strikes, you can see them coming. If you're a really good counterpuncher, you can definitely catch him. And he does get caught, but like I said, he's tough. And in this fight, they both grapple. If you want to bring up some stats on their grappling, they both attempt just over 3 takedowns per fight. Their accuracy isn't that hot. Brunson's at 33%. Dricus is at 47%. But the takedown defense is the difference. Dricus, a lot of the times, uses his strikes as a means to an end, meaning if he catches you, he can sleep you. But most of the times, he's just trying to get on a single or a double and take you down to create damage. I don't think he's going to take Derek Brunson down. And if he does catch Derek Brunson, then so be it. But the better wrestler here is Derek Brunson. And at plus 200, give me that all day. Let's roll.
There you go. So actually odds improved by 5 points since you locked this one in. So we're getting a little bit of extra value.
There you go.
And,
that's right.
You have a second look for this fight too.
Yeah. So for this fight here, again, I like the over 1.5. The reason being is because neither of these guys are really, I guess, bona fide strikers or people that you would talk about striking. These are grapplers. They both attempt three takedowns per 15 minutes. And in this fight, I think the person who's going to be taking anybody down first is Derek Brunson taking Dricus down because Derek Brunson doesn't want to get slept. So if I'm him, my easiest path to victory is just to take Dricus down, hold him down, create control time, tire him out, because if you watch Dricus fight, by the middle of the second round going into the third, he's breathing out of his mouth, which he says is just how he breathes. But I don't buy that. So like I said, over 1.5 rounds, I think is a smart bet because if you look at their fight time, I think I just skipped over that one. If you can pull that up. So their fight time, I believe, is just over 7.5 minutes. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I just had it right here and took it away.
Average fight time?
Yeah.
Average fight time for Dricus, 9:27. For Brunson, 8:33.
So there you go. That's over 7.5 minutes. So if that tells me everything, that clears the mark where we need it. So over 1.5 rounds at 125, I like it.
There you go. They're both averaging above what we need.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next one, the Cody Garbrandt, a fall from grace, but he's back. Taking on Trevin Jones.
So this one was like, I was on the fence a lot about this. I almost didn't even put it in my breakdown. I almost neglected this fight completely. But But I can't neglect the fact that Cody Garbrandt has a glass chin. You said it. He's fallen from grace. I think he's only here just to maybe collect another check so he can start off his marijuana business, which he's starting soon, and ride off into the sunset. Because, yes, he has the ability to win here, but he has to wrestle. But when have you known Cody Garbrandt to wrestle? Never. He gets into one brawl, you hit him once real good, or you talk some shit, and you wake up the dog in him, and then he wakes up in the ambulance. So it's really Trevin Jones's fight, in my opinion, to lose because Trevin Jones, number one, can grapple, number two, hits like a truck, and number three, is athletic enough and durable enough to take whatever Cody throws his way. Now, yes, Trevin Jones has been knocked out. Trevin Jones has been stopped. We all know this. But Cody's going to have to fight in a way so he doesn't get knocked out. And when you're fighting scared to get knocked out, then I only expect you to get blasted. So I'm going to go with Trevin Jones. It's out of all the dogs that I've picked this week, this is probably the one that I wasn't most confident in. So tread lightly, of course. That's why I made it a 1-unit play. But still, I still think he gets the job done because Cody's made of glass. So God bless Cody. I think you're cool, but it's done.
The value is with Trevin on this one. I like it. Okay, now we are jumping into our main card. First up,
yes,
Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett.
All right.
That's crazy odds for a main card fight. How are you approaching this one, Drew?
Oh my God, Bo Nickel by murder. So simply put, Jamie Pickett didn't know who Bo Nickel was before this fight.
Wow.
If you don't know who Bo Nickel is, you're in danger because Jamie Pickett, number one, is a very tall fighter. He's 6'2", right? And what was surprising to me was that when I watched them face off, I said, holy shit, Bo Nickel is pretty much the same size as Jamie Pickett. And my concern when I was breaking down this fight for Bo Nickel was that Jamie Pickett can use his reach. Jamie Pickett can use his size. But he only has a 4-inch reach advantage. And when you're a wrestler, who cares about reach? You're going to close that distance. So Jamie's fucked, pretty much. Now listen, he does average 3.25 significant strikes per 15 minutes. He is, he has reach. But the problem with Jamie Pickett, if you ever watch any of his fights, is that he doesn't use it. He closes the distance in fights. He tries to take people down. He tries to clinch with people when he shouldn't, and when he should just use his jab and keep people at a distance. If you don't know Bo Nickel and you've been preparing, I hope his coaches at least knew Bo Nickel because it's about to be a lot. It's crazy. So for him to say that, I hope it was just some confidence or him trying to throw some shade, but it's crazy. But anyway, Bo Nickel is going to do whatever he wants with Jamie Pickett because Jamie Pickett has never seen this type of grappling. Jamie Pickett doesn't do well against grappling. He has a 65% takedown defense, and against who? Nobody really, in my opinion, because it just doesn't matter in this fight. Nobody's Bo Nickel. So yeah, Bo Nickel by sub. Bo Nickel by sub and decision. I saw in other places at -180 if you don't want to just go by sub. And then I've also seen Bo Nickel by KO, TKO at +200 or a little bit higher, only because you have to imagine if he can't finish Pickett, which I think he can finish however he wants, he might just want to prove a point and knock him out with his hands. So they're all live bets. I don't think you're going to go wrong. But my opinion, his best path to victory is to take Jamie Pickett down and put him to sleep. If I had to predict a submission, because I know on some sites you can pick it, I'd probably say by arm triangle.
Very nice. Very nice. Bo Nickel by sub in this one. We got a couple quick comments we're going to address before we go to our next fight. Tyson, yep. Let's go, Drew. I agree, Tyson.
What's up, brother? Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
We also got Sori asking, are y'all going to do a recap on the Discord? Drew has already shared his plays in the BettorWays Discord. I believe they came out yesterday. So if you're in the Discord, you might have already had a chance to play them. He's also linked his article with the full written breakdown that you can check out in the BettorWays Discord as well. And what's the website they can find that at, Drew?
So you can find it at ftnbets.com, and if you're into DFS, you can find it at ftndaily.com. And if you want to sign up for both, you use FTN MMA, and you get a discount on your membership.
Perfect. So there we go. Hopefully that helps you. Sorry. And last thing is Tyson says, this is Spittin' Picklets. What's going on, Tyson? We're glad to have you here.
Spittin', what's good, my bro?
Spittin' is in the mountains on a ski and snowboard trip, but he does not ski or snowboard, so he is hanging with us. We're glad to have you here. Okay,
That's awesome.
Moving on to our next fight. Oh, one comment just came in that we'll address real quick. Ray, a.k.a. Firefighter Betts, is also joining us today. What's going on, Fire? Thanks for joining. Go ahead. You got something?
No. I was just reminiscing on Fire's deep voice the last time I heard him talk on this on his podcast. It was funny.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to our next one. Mateus Gamrot versus Jalen Turner. Let me get up the right. Mateus is minus 225 money line favorite with Jalen clocking in at a plus 185 money line. Drew, how are you approaching this one?
This is my favorite dog of the week, Jalen Turner. Plus 185. He has the size. He has the athleticism. He can strike. In my opinion, better than Mateus Gamrot. And I think he wins. And I think he finishes Mateus, because if you've ever watched Mateus fight, yes, he's a great grappler, but he's not that good of a striker. Yes, again, he has variety. He can throw some kicks. He can throw combinations. He can mix it in well, but it's all means to an end. And his means to an end, if you can go by the stats or you go by the numbers, which I tend to do, are for the takedowns. His takedown average is 4.66, which is insane. That means he's attempting at least 2 takedowns per round, or a takedown and a half per round. So that to me just says that everything that he does when it comes to his damage, because his submission average as well is 0.2, his takedown defense is 90%. So on the ground, he's not really looking to submit you. He's really just looking to do damage. And he has to take Jalen Turner down to do damage. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to take Turner down. He will, maybe 1-2 times in the first round. But Mateus Gamrot puts a lot, and not only him, any wrestler puts a lot into taking someone down and holding them down, especially when you can get hit in the face. So, with that being said, Mateus Gamrot will get some takedowns, which is why in one of my breakdowns on DFS, I said one of my favorite plays is for him to get over 1.5 takedowns. But that's beyond this point. Jalen Turner can smack. I've already said that. Jalen Turner has a 7-inch reach advantage in this fight, and Jalen Turner is 6'3", and Mateus Gamrot is 5'10". So, my point is, if Mateus Gamrot, after he takes him down maybe twice, if he can't do it 3, 4, 5, 6 times in this fight, and he starts to get tired, he's going to have to strike with the fighter that he has to close the distance in, and a fighter who's really good at keeping the distance with leg kicks, with strikes to the body, which he can shut people down. And honestly, that's how I think this fight ends. I think it ends either in the second or the third round, maybe the third, only because I think that's when Mateus just runs completely out of gas, and then Jalen Turner runs it up. Don't be surprised if this fight goes into the third round 1-1, because Mateus does his thing in the first round, and then Jalen Turner starts to take over in that second round and finishes him in the third. That's my bold prediction, I guess, if you want to call it. But yeah, that's how I feel.
Well, I'm sold. I mean, and you didn't even have to sell me. I already placed all these bets. But I'm definitely sold now. One quick comment that we'll jump into. Ray says, I need your beard to match my voice. I agree. Strong beard game. Strong beard.
I appreciate that.
All right. So we're taking Jalen Turner on the money line as the underdog. Moving on to our next fight here. We have Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think I nailed the pronunciation.
All right, I'm gonna say Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Oh, okay, it was close.
You got it.
All right,
it was good.
Okay, but moving on to the picks.
All right, so Shavkat Rakhmonov. So I think another person. Let me just lay out quick stats. Shavkat Rakhmonov is a 100% finish rate fighter. He's never been in the third round of any fight. So it only goes to the second round, and that's as far as you go. And he's been in 16 fights. So this isn't somebody who just started fighting. This isn't somebody who was fighting blind people back home. This is somebody who beat up real men, and this is somebody who's going to beat up Jeff Neal. Now, Jeff Neal, just like the last fighter I mentioned, had a disparity in size. Jeff Neal has a 2-inch reach disadvantage, and he's 5'11" to Shavkat 6'1". Now, what's the MMA math here, right? I'm not a big fan of MMA math. I'm not a fan of math, but anyway, sometimes some people are. So, Jeff Neal fought Neil Magny. Neil Magny towered over Jeff Neal. Neil Magny ate Jeff Neal. Okay. Shavkat Rakhmonov fought Neil Magny. Shavkat Rakhmonov ate Neil Magny. Like, destroyed him, subbed him. If you want to do math and you're a math major or your job is math in this world, then the only thing that makes sense is that Shavkat Rakhmonov eats Jeff Neal. It's the only thing that makes sense here. It's the only rationale. So for that reason, Shavkat Rakhmonov will win by any way he wants. So I'll call it murder, and I'll upgrade it right here on the podcast. I'll upgrade it to a 2-unit play because that's how I feel. So
Let's
here we
go
are.
by TKO or sub, and then you also have another half unit specifically by sub.
So this, I wanted to put a full unit on it, but I kind of like something's telling me, my gut's telling me that he's just gonna knock Neal out. Because Neal has also been the one to talk about stopping people who have never been stopped, and he's known as the hands of steels. So if there's any condition for him to win, it is by knocking Shavkat out. But he literally has a puncher's chance. That's about it, because he can't wrestle with Shavkat, and he's not bigger or stronger, in my opinion, than Shavkat. So if he doesn't land that knockout punch and Shavkat closes the distance, it's going to be a short night, but yeah, you get it.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Okay, we're moving on into the title fights. First up, the champion, Valentino Shevchenko, taking on Alexa Grasso. Drew, how are we approaching this one?
So if there's a theme that we've been talking about in the past couple fights, it's size. And for this fight, I think to beat Valentina, if we notice anything with Talita Santos, is that you need size. You need size and strength to beat Valentina or threaten the queen. Let's not even say beat, because she still got the strap. But you need size to threaten her. You need size to dominate her. You need size to pin her to the ground and make it an ugly fight, which is what Talita did until she tired out. I think she hurt herself. And then Valentina took over. Alexa Grasso is good. I'm not taking anything away from Alexa Grasso. She's made her run. She deserves this spot. But she's just going to learn a lesson, and she's just going to be able to talk about the memories and the experience, in my opinion, because Shevchenko is probably going to want to send the message with this performance that she's still the top dog. She's still in top form, and Alexa Grasso is just not it. Now, let's play devil's advocate, right? Alexa Grasso is good. She can grapple, which Talita could grapple, and that was Valentina's kryptonite. But Alexa Grasso can't strike like Talita can. Like, Talita had power behind her strikes. So if Alexa lands on Valentina, I don't think that it's really going to cause any damage. I don't think that it's really going to cause or have any effect on Valentina's performance. Valentina, every time she got punched, it made her think twice when she got punched by Santos. When she gets punched by Grasso, I don't think it's going to make her think twice. I think it might get her mad and make her want to finish the fight sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. So let's get to the bets. First bet, it's Valentina in either round 4, 5, or decision. The reason I say this is because of what I just mentioned right before we got to the bets. I think Valentina wants to send a message, and I think Valentina wants to make it pretty. So the first couple rounds will be competitive. Alexa Grasso will do her thing. Everybody comes out firing well. But Valentina will find her rhythm. And if she doesn't knock her out by head kick in the first 3 rounds, then by the 4th, 5th round, I expect Valentina to just be completely outclassing her and showing us what it means to be a champion for the 8th time while you're defending it. And, Alexa Grasso, another reason I pin it on to end in those rounds or just go to decision is because she's tough. She has that Mexican fighting spirit. So you always have to think about that, and you always have to bring that into account, especially in the fight game, no matter what it is. And
your second bet, yeah.
And just to make sure, like, this was the first bet that I originally liked, but to cover ourselves, I thought we can add in the plus money, which is why I went with the 4th, 5th, or decision. But I still think that Valentina finishes her because I think she wants to send a message. So does it get to decision? I don't think so, but I don't think it ends in the early rounds. So for me, Shevchenko gets it done inside the 4th or 5th round.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. And the main event of the evening, John Jones is back to take on Cyril Gane in a heavyweight fight. Bit of a checkered past for John Jones. Can he redeem himself? Drew, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm actually like, you're a genius for even saying that, and you didn't even know it. So you said he's kind of he had a checkered past. I agree. Outside of the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of the cage, the only thing that you can talk about him is what? Domination, the GOAT. He lost once, and it was because of DQ, I think, because I don't think he's ever been stopped. Yeah, like
12 years ago, maybe.
Exactly. But outside of that, can you say anything negative? Remember, I'm talking about inside the cage. Anything negative? Nothing.
I doubt it.
You can't. Now, Reyes was his best competition, but what has happened to Reyes after that fight? He burned in the sun. He reached that height. He's shown. I saw a comment today that people think he has CTE while they watched him commentating. So it's just not good. But anyway, let's talk about this fight. John Jones, back after 3 years. He's 6'4", has a 3-inch reach advantage. So they're the same height, but he has a reach advantage. Is he going to wrestle? I think so. Should he wrestle? Yes. Should he mess with Cyril Gane's speed and striking at first? No, I don't think so. He's been gone for 3 years, so he's gonna soak all that in that first round. He might not look good in the first round. He might not even look like he's throwing a lot of strikes in the first round, because if you've ever watched John Jones fight, sometimes he comes out hot, sometimes he comes out, he studies you like an Anderson Silva type, and then once he's got you, figured out, then he starts to let go. In this fight, if you want to keep it simple, the paths to victory for John Jones are what? Wrestle. Cyril Gane made Francis Ngannou look like Daniel Cormier. I even said this in the UFC chat in the BettorWays, and I've even said this in my breakdown. Francis Ngannou shouldn't have done what he did to Cyril Gane. And we get it. It's a fight. Anything can happen in a fight. It is what it is. But still, if you're Cyril Gane, you're that type of athlete, what did you show? That you didn't have the experience to go that deep in the water. What did you show? That you have the ability to be broken. What did you show? That if the going gets tough, you're not tough. So John Jones, in my opinion, the only hiccup or the only worry you should have, in my opinion, personally, I don't feel it's a worry, but if you have one, it's probably that he's been away for 3 years.
Sure.
Because outside of that, if he was fighting, let's say, only a year removed from this fight, would anybody be worried? Would he be this much of a favorite? This low of a favorite, in my opinion? I think this is value. Because in my opinion, if he was 6 months removed, 1 year removed from a fight, he'd be a minus 500 right now.
Wow.
That's not even that's my personal opinion. You guys can berate me, whatever, but he's that good. The dude can wrestle with the best of them. And for anybody saying he looks fat, he's out of shape, he looks like he's in pain, dude, he has 2 brothers who played in the NFL. One still plays in the NFL. You think they don't have professional trainers? You think he doesn't have access to the best that money can buy when it comes to keeping your body in shape? He's had 3 years. So let's break this down. Year 1, you get big, you eat. Year 2, you figure out how to move with that. Year 3, you perfect it. And then after that, you come back and get what's yours. That's what I think I would do, right?
No weight cut for him this time around, too.
Exactly, dude. He came in at
nice.
240. Dude, if you've ever done any type of anything that had to do with weight cutting, and they tell you don't have to weight cut, that's a godsend.
So you have a lot more energy.
Exactly. Like for me, when I compete in jiu-jitsu, I'm small, dude. I'm 5'6", 5'7" on a great day. And I put on a gi and I fight in 170. Because what? Because I don't want to cut weight. And I walk around at like 175. So if anything, I just don't eat, take a dump, and I'm right on weight. But anyway.
There you go.
Back to this fight. The bets.
First bet.
John Jones money line 155. Now you did see the graphic before at 175. That's how I currently just got it, because I bet him multiple times already. So John Jones money line 155 was how I originally. I think it was like the second bet I made on him. I got 145, 155, and then 175 on him. So I think he just wins flat out. I think he's better. If you can get the split decision, that'd be pretty cool too, because I think this fight goes the distance. And I think he's just better everywhere, man. The wrestling is the biggest thing because whether Cyril Gane can strike, Cyril Gane is going to have to wrestle a lot. Cyril Gane is going to have to deal with size a lot. John Jones, if you want a stat for people who like numbers like me, John Jones is benching, I think, plus 500 and he's deadlifting plus 600.
Jeez. I don't think anybody's going to come close to hit John Jones in terms of athleticism.
That's my point too. Like people really think just because he's got size now that he's not going to be like, dude. Yes, he might move a little bit slower, but everything is with more strength and everything is with more power, and all that matters in a fight against Cyril Gane, who is a literal athlete. The dude can be a middle linebacker anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. But just like John Jones says, John Jones treats it as a fight. Cyril Gane treats it as a sport. Mentality matters, man. Mentality matters.
And speaking of how your second bet, if I can pull this up here, a 2-unit play on over 4.5 rounds.
Yes.
And
so
you just go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was
just saying, you just said you thought this was going to go to distance. Tell us why.
Yes. So I just think the reason this goes to distance is because they're both durable. And John Jones is going to pace himself in the first couple of rounds, just like I mentioned earlier. I don't think he comes out of the gates firing. I don't think it's in his benefit to come out firing, honestly, because if you haven't been in a fight in 3 years, obviously he sparred, obviously he's been in training, but training is way different. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what walk of life you have. You can be at home, stare yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're great. And then you get to where you're going and you freeze. It can happen. In this case, John Jones hasn't been in there in 3 years, but he is the type of athlete who his mentality and his fight IQ will carry him and will erase that ring rust. So because of that, and because I think Cyril Gane is also durable, I think this fight goes the distance. If it does end or happens to end, it happens way at the end, 5th round. That's when I think when they're both either exhausted or Cyril Gane is exhausted or that hand that he just had surgery on just gives way, which is another tidbit. He did just have surgery 6 months ago, 5 to 6 months ago, and he's here fighting John Jones. So yeah.
There you go. Okay, fight to go the distance. You have to think Jones has a lot to lose if he does not win this fight. Makes sense for him to try to play it safe and get out. Maybe taking a page out of the GSP playbook, perhaps. Same coach as
just
back
win.
in the day, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the win, no matter how that happens. Okay, very nice. That is the official breakdown from Drew. We got a couple of comments that we'll get to before we wrap up. Before we get to the comments, Drew, where can the people find you and your work?
So, of course, if you're in the Discord, you already know I'm always active inside there every weekend. All the fight cards that I can find, I'll provide there. That's in the BettorWays Discord on Twitter. You can find that. Or if you're already in there, you know. Other places, ftnbets.com and ftndaily.com. And on Twitter, if you can see the handle there, it's at Jiu-Jitero. I'm always there tweeting out my plays every Friday, usually. So yeah, man, this was fun. I'm looking forward to doing more of these shows going forward. We'll probably do them more so for like pay-per-views and, if we see any fight cards that we think you guys want to know about. But yeah.
That was awesome. Drew, really fun breakdown. I can't wait for the fights. I'm playing the full card. Excited to see how it goes. Let's go to the comments.
Let's get it done.
We got Mac. Drew is the UFC GOAT. Mac,
bro,
we agree.
Thank you, bro. I had a great week. I'm hoping to do them again.
There we go. And then we got a couple from Tyson as we wrap this up. Tyson says, I had no idea UFC was this in-depth before I had Drew spit these facts. Drew's a natural, man. Just running through all these stats and figures and telling us why and what is going to happen. I agree, Tyson. That was great. And then one thing from Tyson, which I think you kind of touched on real quick, he's referencing John Jones. He says, look at that belly. Not worried about that, though. Drew, doesn't seem like he's worried at all.
Nope, not at all. Not even a little bit.
There you go. Okay, John Jones. Oh, let's take a quick look at our recap before I officially end this as well. So here are all of Drew's main card picks. You can see the full recap of all of Drew's picks in the BettorWays Discord. Thank you for joining us. We will be sharing this throughout tomorrow as well. Hope you all enjoy the fights, and thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.